All right, where are my people at? We're out here talking about the Tao once again. It's another Tao of the day. Monday through Friday, I come on sometime in the morning, around Central Standard Time, usually. And I want you to join me. Pick a number between 1 and 81, and we'll read through that chapter of the Tao, and we'll go through it line by line. I'll also read one for myself, usually, unless I get people coming on. So that's where we can start. If anybody wants to join on right now, I'd love to have you. Once again, all you got to do is pick a number between 1 and 81. You don't even have to know what the Tao is. I'm going to explain that right now. The Tao translates to the Canon of Reason. It's an ancient text written by Lao Tzu, and it's this constant idea of living within a state of reason, so that you can live your life in a state of reason, and be a reasonable person, be someone who can allow others to be who they are, allow yourself to kind of tap into the whole of the universe, and all that is offered you and all that you are. It very much aligns with all the work I do in the recovery field when I talk about recovering to who you are. This is recovering your connection to the Tao at its core. So if anybody's on and would be interested in picking a number between 1 and 81, I would love to have you. Once again, it's just about just picking any number between 1 and 81. There are 81 verses in the Tao, or 81 chapters in the Tao. I don't know really what to call them, because they're fairly short, so I don't know that there'd be chapters. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start and pick a number. I'm not exactly sure what I'm leaning towards. 70s are coming out for me. I think we've talked about a lot of 70s, and I don't wanna um, I don't want to just I don't want to come to it with a preconceived idea. I would like the number to come to me. So if there's a number that is coming to you, please please join me. I'm going to take 3 to 5 seconds. I'm just going to kind of feel into my body and see if there's any number that's coming up for me. So if there's silence on the line, my apologies, but it's going to yield something much better. So I came up with 56. 56 is an interesting, um, it's a wonderful, it's really a great Tao. And I think this is really poignant for me right now, just because, sometimes you want to say more than you need to. And so I'm going to go ahead and read this Tao for us all. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. Close your mouth. Block off your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knots. Soften your glare. Settle your dust. This is the primal identity. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed, honored or brought into disgrace. It gives itself up continuously. That is why it endures. So, this is one of my favorites. Well, they're all great. I can't really say that there's any favorites, but I really love how this starts with this. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. I really do want to be someone who can be quieter than I am. I really do want to be someone who can speak less. And that's something that I strive for regularly. That's something that I reach for. That's something that I want in my life. I want to speak less. And sometimes when I speak, I'm trying to prove myself, and I recognize that, and I want to be able to step away from that. I don't want to constantly be opening my mouth trying to prove myself or trying to do something that isn't in line with who I am. And I know I do that, and I overstep my bounds quite a bit and quite often when that happens. And so that's something that really I've been taking to heart for many, many years. But sometimes it gets away from me because there is so much there's seemingly so much benefit in speaking, right? You get credit, you get to be heard, you get to be understood, you get to impress people, you get to do all of these wonderful things that really don't add up to much in the end. And that's something that I that I've recognized, right? It doesn't add up to much. What is important is me and my relationship with myself in the end, right? Like how I'm going to impress somebody else, or how I'm going to speak and be heard or whatnot. Like that's less important than the relationship I have with myself, and that the relationship I have with myself in this moment is pure and kind of clear. And that's where we get in these next lines in this verse: close your mouth and block off your senses. Right? Like, I just came out of a very nice meditation that I did at the park. Yeah, it was only 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. But it was really just a space for me to be quiet. I kind of feel like there's just been a lot of noise in my mind and in my life recently, and it's something that I really wanted to be able to tap into that quiet, right? Tap into that settled nature of who I am. And when I came out, I felt so much just more relieved, right? I felt not, I don't want to say I felt like myself, but I did feel more connected by blocking off my senses, or at least not reacting to my senses, right? I was able to hear, and I was able to like focus on hearing and focus on being present, but it wasn't necessarily about anything other than that, other than being present. So if anybody's on and wants to come on and pick a number between 1 and 81, and share in the Tao, I would love for you to join me. I am currently reading 56, which starts: those who know don't talk, those who talk don't know. The lines that we're going through at this point are: blunt your sharpness, untie your knots, soften your glare, and settle your dust. There's no like blunt your sharpness. When I think of that, I think of like wittiness, or trying to, inject yourself into something where it doesn't need to be. Untie your knots. That's all the stress and the things. I feel like that is all of the, I need to do these things. I need to approach these things and envelop something within me, right? Like it takes up so much space when we have those knots within us. Soften your glare and settle your dust, right? Like, you don't have to keep looking to be seen. You don't have to keep looking to be running around like a whirling dervish. You can calm down. You can be still, and that stillness will, very possibly help us know, right? And in knowing, we don't need to talk, right? Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. So this is Tao of the Day, where I ask you to come up, pick a number between 1 and 81, and we will go through that verse of the Tao. If you're interested, please join me, and you can just pick a number between 1 and 81. I'm going through chapter 56 right now. This is my Tao for the day, and we're moving on to the final stanza of this verse. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from. And that really rings to me at this moment, right? It can't be approached or withdrawn from. I like that space. Like, I want to be able to envelop that space of like not being able to be approached or withdrawn from, because like there is so much in attachment, right? We have so much in attachment to people, attachment to things, attachment to our ideas, right? Even our own ideas, because there's so many different levels of our own awareness. Like, certain parts of us can approach and withdraw from ourselves. We can be like, oh, I've lost that part of me. But that's not possible when you can be like the Tao, when you can let your dust settle and soften your glare, untie your knots and blunt your sharpness, right? Like, there's no reason to speak where you are, your identity. There's no reason to speak what you believe yourself to be, because you are so much more than that at all times. It cannot be benefited or harmed. And that's beautiful. Like, the idea that we want to benefit from something, right? And when the benefit doesn't come, we could very much feel aggrieved. We can feel like we've been harmed because we were expecting something. But that's not how it works, right? Like when you are you, there is no benefit to you because you are like, in order to benefit, that means you have to be less than something, and that's not possible, right? Because there is no measurement in the grand scheme of who you are. And you can't be harmed because you are at one with all things, right? All of those things that are, you know, making their way towards you, that are maybe approaching you, because you cannot be approached. They have no ability to harm you. So honored, or it cannot be honored or brought to disgrace. And that's the thing, like for me, I say that's the thing a lot. And I think I want to stop saying that. So I will work on that. So honored or brought into disgrace. It cannot be honored or brought into disgrace. I think that's interesting because I enjoy being honored. And I think because of that, I have a space in my mind where I feel like I could also be brought into disgrace. And when we recognize that those two are opposites, that those two rely on each other, it's much easier to be able to be like, okay, where am I at this moment? Who am I at this moment? How am I at this moment? And there is no honor or disgrace. There is only you. There's only you connected to the Tao. And the idea that you can be honored is something you need to speak. Right? I am honored to be in this position. I am honored to be connected. I am honored to hold this thing. And that is that you cannot be honored by that, because that, in definition, in the fact that you can describe what it is you are honored to be, you are limiting yourself to that, and you are limitless, right? You are the highest. You are of the highest order. And I think that is what this is coming down to. And when you're honored, that's something you speak. But when you can just be in this place and accept that which you hold, right? That space of being present with that which is around you, or that which you are connected to. Those are the things that really grow within you, and help you grow and help me grow as an individual. It gives itself up continually, and that's why it endures. And this may very well relate back to eternally dying, and eternally, like being able to perish without dying, or die without perishing. I don't know how the Tao puts it offhand, but there is that space of, oh, can you allow a part of yourself to die without you perishing? Many people, they live their life connected to an identity. And that identity controls so much of how they see themselves, and so much of how they want to be seen by others. And in order for that identity to die, they have to perish, because they can't let it go. They can't allow that space to be connected. They can't allow that space to be fully enveloped by what is at the moment. And I feel like this line, it gives itself up continuously. Like, give up that identity. Give up the chasing, or give up the desire for something to approach you. Give up the desire of your fears of being withdrawn from, or harmed, or brought into disgrace. Give up all of those things and allow that which is to be as it is. Because there is nothing more important than, like, being aware of what is right now, without us wanting to inject that which we have preconceived ideas about. So for those of you who've joined me, this is Tao of the Day. I ask anybody, you can join me and pick a number between 1 and 81, and we'll go through that chapter, or that verse of the Tao, and then we'll go through it line by line. I'm currently going through chapter 56. That was my choice for today. And the final line of this verse is, that is why it endures. That is why it endures. And it's because it is constantly giving itself up. Change is the only constant. We know that. So as things change, as we grow, as we develop into who we will be, we are always, as long as we're always able to give up of ourselves, give up our identity, give up and allow that dust to settle, allow our mouth to stay shut and be present in that moment, then we can endure. And we, as who we are, not who we used to be, can endure. And this is at the core of so much that is recover yourself. When we recover ourself, we can recover that connection to who we are and who we are changing into. And so I would love to be able to embody this all that much more. And today's a really great day for it. Because of a number of things going on right now. I was kind of at the end of my rope a little bit earlier today. It's been an interesting couple of days, and it's important for me to remember to just keep my mouth shut, allow myself to be present in the moment, and allow any identity or any expectation that I have to fade away, and to allow myself the grace and the space to just hold that space and hold on to what is, because that is all that is. And we can really learn a lot from this chapter 56. So I'm going to go ahead and read it one more time. If you want to come on and bring on and give me a number between 1 and 81, that'll give you another minute or so to decide if you have a number. And if you do, I would love to have you on. I'm going to read it one more time. Those who know don't talk. Those who talk don't know. Close your mouth, block off your senses, blunt your sharpness, untie your knots, soften your glare, settle your dust. This is the primal identity. We didn't talk about that line, but the primal identity is somebody, the primal identity, right? Like this is the identity of you in your primal state, you know, block off your senses. You're not just, running to and fro, trying to respond to all of your senses. Your senses are giving you a lot of information, but in order to know what information to respond to, you need to close your mouth and blunt your sharpness. You don't have to fix everything. Untie your knots, all of those little things that are, like within you, all of those desires to change things around you. Soften your glare so that you're not focused so much on any individual thing. Allow yourself to take in the bigger picture. Settle your dust. This is the primal identity, and I really love that primal identity, because this is you in your most primal state. This isn't you as you are today, as a logical thinking, focused, like you don't have cognitive access to everything that is around you, but you do have access to it. And so when you can do all these things, when you can soften your gaze, you might be able to see it. But when you look at it, it can disappear. I know I've experienced that many times when I've been like, I see something, but then I look at it and it's gone. Be like the Tao. It can't be approached or withdrawn from, benefited or harmed, honored or brought to disgrace. It gives itself up continually, and that is why it endures. And that's it. Like 56, beautiful chapter. If anybody has a chapter or a number between 1 and 81 they want to share, please come on, join me, and we'll go through that. If not, I can. I would. I'll be ending this talk shortly. But if anybody wants to come on and pick a number between 1 and 81, I'd be happy to share the Tao with you and share a chapter, share your Tao for the day. These are great meditations to walk through your day with. Well, I am on Wisdom every day between, sometime in the morning and Central Time. And I offer the Tao of the day, and I would love for anybody to join me and pass on a number that we can chat about. All right, well, this is a Recover Yourself production. I'm your host, Martin John, and until next time, keep recovering yourself.